Perception from the outside is different from the inside. What you think you know, you don't always know. My journey started from a small town in rural Appalachia to the big city of Charleston that houses our state's capital. The allure and opulence of our capital is magical and captivating at the same time. I was prepared with knowledge and leadership skills to approach this internship. But what I learned while I was there could have never been learned in any book or any classroom setting. Status symbols are titles attached to names and lapel pins displayed upon their chests like superheroes, exclusively for senators and House members. It's not hard to spot who runs the show and who's in control. All across the hallways are well-dressed, posh women, some of whom you would have thought walked out of a couture fashion show. Fake smiles dot the hallways, followed by the sound of high heels walking across the marble floors of the East Wing. Upon entering a conference committee, you walk past a crowded audience of not just people of our state, but lobbyists. They have a snake-like charismatic charm with an agenda. One committee meeting I seen, one of these lobbyists approached the podium and they addressed the committee in regards to mismanaged corporate funds and was going bankrupt. They were seeking to raise fees to subsidize their corporate losses. These fees that they were seeking to raise were established by the state at a regulated rate so their state would remain competitive in that sector. I listened to the song and dance of these lobbyists, thinking you really got to be kidding me. The committee members asked very few questions and a unanimous vote passed the committee. I was shocked by this vote. Not one member asked what the salaries were of the CEO or how they could make cuts that would not raise rates. Nothing. Nothing at all was addressed along those lines. It was at that moment that I knew that there was more happening than I could really imagine. As time went on, I began to see how members knowledgeable in parliamentary procedure could use that to their advantage. Understanding parliamentary procedure is like having a royal flush. A diverse understanding places you above your opponent and any opposition. You have to know the game to play the game. As time went along, I found myself questioning everything I was witnessing. First thought that came to my mind was early on when we were informed that lobbyists were not allowed to partake in bribery, and any monetary donation of $25 or more was not permissible. But food at any moment, at any amount, was fine. So it's kind of like a loophole that allows the lobbyists to skate around. Never in my life have I seen so much food. Everywhere, food was scattered across all floors and all offices. Secondly, I began to understand the committee meetings. All the powers held by the chair of that committee. The chair dictates what is put on the agenda and has the final ruling, no matter how the committee votes. To me, I found that highly disturbing. So, in all honesty, what is the point of even having the committee meeting if the votes of the members really don't matter? I also began to think about the session in its entirety. The House and Senate members only have 60 days to take care of our state's issues. And within those 60 days, what is being done, you might wonder? Well, what I witnessed was the creation of new laws that impose taxation on the people of this state. I would go home in the evenings reflecting on my day and think, what has been done? What has really been done to help the people of this state? Why are we not doing anything to better the citizens and addressing real issues that impact the real people? I struggled every evening. It felt like that there should be more being done to help these people. I found that not to be true. I found people with agendas that negatively impacted the people who really mattered, those people being the citizens of our state. On a weekly basis, I was surrounded by all types of people with this mentality. On the weekends, I would come home and spend my time relaxing fishing in McDowell County, one of the poorest counties in the state. I would witness poverty and despair and would think to myself, these are the people who don't have a voice and need avocation and not to be exploited. It hurts me. Here I was during the week surrounded by the state's most powerful people who could really make a difference, and they are concerned about raising rates so a company doesn't go bankrupt. The real point is when you go into business, it's not a guaranteed success, and businesses do fail. And we are not to look to the state to bail out businesses. I say, let them fail. Failure helps people to redefine themselves and become more cooperative and more businesslike in their minds, and are even willing to work harder to prevent failure. Every person in this state, and I do mean every person in this state, should be concerned about what's really happening in our state and should pay attention. But unfortunately, people don't care. They only begin to care when it impacts them directly in a negative way. We, the people, should hold our elected officials accountable for the voting and their actions. Disappointing at times and even heartbreaking. The final day of session is nothing more than a bombardment of voting on a bill after a bill. I found myself in the gallery witnessing bill after bill, vote after vote, and I sat there and thought, how in the world are these members voting on all these issues? Because I know that they did not even look at the bill. And I think about all the pros and cons that was attached to them. They just voted. That in itself is highly disturbing. I know I could have told you everything that I thought that you might want to hear, but I want to be honest with you. I did a job, and I did it well with the highest honor, but it opened my eyes in a positive way. Not all was negative. If anything, this has fueled my passion to work even harder to create real change. This internship was an amazing opportunity, and I am honored and thankful to have had an opportunity like this. In closing, I also want to thank you, Dr. Cavell, for being instrumental to me during my college career. Your classes have opened my eyes in ways that I will carry with me the rest of my life. You allowed me to see things from a perspective that I honestly didn't think was even possible. My grandfather would always tell me to be a leader and not a follower. You have provided me with such tools that will help me continue to be that leader. Thank you very much, Dr. Cavell, and thank you for this amazing opportunity.